You found the Steel National Championship Air Races presented by Reno Tahoe.
Our main competition is Al Hoover, the gray plane right next to us. Last year, we had 4 races against him that were just very tight battles. We ended up winning 3 of those. He won 1. Luckily, we won the final. And Al's a great pilot. It was like he was flying formation on us. He was like stuck like glue onto our wing, just hoping we'd make a mistake and let him get by. And luckily, we were able to prevail. Smoke and the weather. Yesterday, we had rain, we had lightning. That delayed some things, and the smoke, just visibility makes it hard to see. So the FAA requires 6 miles of visibility for the races. For our class like ours that's running slower, we can go as low as 3 miles, but we really don't like going that low just because the planes are very small. They're hard to see. And, we're not just talking about on the race course, but after the race, we got to recover. We're all in the traffic pattern trying to get to the same runway. If we can't see each other, it's just not safe. So having to wait for the smoke to clear has slowed things down a bit this week.
Here we go with our biplane silver race here in the start. Rob is from the other end of the runway that we usually do, so we're going to do a little bit of a different maneuver to get these planes in shape, lined up, and racing.
That's correct, Tommy. We do the 4-second interval departure. You see the first 3 off there. There's 2 in the middle and then 3 more in the back. We have a field of 8 here, and this is what's known as the scatter pylon. So you see them departing kind of to the northwest there. They're going to make a turn to the west end of what is our normal up close and personal 3.5-mile biplane Formula One course, and then they're going to turn back around and come back down what is the home straightaway towards the steel start-finish line, and we'll be on course racing at that point. So they are racing now. It normally has a 1-lap oil warm-up lap as they go around. We will still have that here in a second, but for folks that have been out here to Reno, the wind caused us to depart a different direction today, and so here we are started. That's our pole position. Miss Diane with Dave Holmgren there in first place. He's in the lead. They're right behind him in 84, Alan Hoover in the white Red Lady pits, and then the red aircraft. You see our leader there, Tommy. Great shot of our leader. Again, we're in just in our oil warm-up lap as they make the first lap on the course. Again, that first little bit you saw, ladies and gentlemen, was because of the wind. We had to depart a different direction than normal. The wind isn't terribly strong, but it was enough. These aircraft are very sensitive on the ground, Tommy, being tailwheel aircraft, and they are up and racing, though, Tommy. This is Championship Sunday. This is the silver pairing for the silver medal, and we're excited about what's going on here.
And just as soon as race 6, Dave Holmgren passes our start-finish pylon, we will be underway with the first of 6 official laps here.
Yeah, that's right, Tommy. We do fly 6 laps in this. All these aircraft have 2 wings. It's the biplane class. They do have fixed gear. They all fly air-cooled 360 cubic inch engines. Minimum weight of 500 pounds. And then again, these have the fixed pitch prop, which is a little bit less into the factor because of the way we had to depart, as normally they get that kind of racehorse start, but here we are up and racing, Tommy, and we are well into lap 1, and our leader pulling away was the top qualifier at just under 180 miles an hour, and that is race 6 and Miss Diane with Dave Holmgren.
This is silver class racing. This is for the silver medal for the week here in Reno.
Tommy, as you see our racers going around, you see some of those iconic pits, S1 and S2 paint schemes on these aircraft. Out of our field of 8, we have 6 Pitts biplanes. We have 2 Kristen Eagles in the race today as well. So you'll see those here in a few minutes, but you see some of our racers headed down the backstretch, or the far north backstretch. We're going to jump back to our leader here. He's continuing to stay out front. Got a great start, executed the scatter pylon turn expertly, and has stayed out front as he passes the steel start-finish line home pylon for race number 6 and Miss Diane.
It's Dave Holmgren from Park City, Utah, an airline pilot by profession. His passion, obviously, is the biplane.
And he's flying a perfect line here, Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
The wind is, it's not very much. I'm guessing less than 10 knots, and so it's not really affecting the upwind, downwind legs here other than our initial start. And he is doing just a great job headed down there on the far north end of the course as he heads back to the west We got a little bit overcast skies today, but the temperatures are clear and cool. These engines are performing at top speed. And here you can hear him come by our pylon cams that are out here in the desert. Just a great view of Dave Holmgren as he comes around headed back home.
Dave looking to complete lap 2 of 6 here around our course here. A 3-mile course.
There's one of our Christen Eagles. You can see the white airplane with the multicolored wing feathered pattern on top, and you see the pits there in front of him in race 22. And then the white is Scott McDonald in race 247, slow roll. A good race going back there in the back, but now we'll jump back to our leader as he heads down the backstretch again. Dave Holmgren in race 6 in the Miss Diane. Staying out front, Tommy. It doesn't look like he's extending his lead on second place, but he's certainly not losing any of it. He looks to have the race well in hand.
Absolutely. Top qualifier. He earned the right to have that #1 starting position. He's taken full advantage of it. As he is now into his 3rd. Heading for the halfway point in this silver class race.
And the aircraft you see in the shot with our leader there, Tommy, is actually a lap aircraft that he has just passed. And he, again, yeah, on the closed course pylon racing, you have to pass on the outside. And so he is making ground on the field as he went around. Great shot of both of these aircraft coming through here. Race 84, that's Alan Hoover in Panther, another Pitts S1. And there you see the two of them. Alan wasn't really happy about getting past there. You see him kind of working back on Holmgren saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to get unlapped here.
Alan started in the 3rd position, so yeah, they couldn't be happy about that outcome. But so there goes Dave Holmgren departing that pairing right there.
Yeah, and they both are passing there the Christen Eagle. You can see the speed difference from those two aircraft as they head down the back part of the stretch. So there is a fair amount of speed difference this morning here in the silver pairing on Championship Sunday. But a good race here, or at least a competitive flying, even though our leader has lapped the other aircraft there. It is beautiful to see biplanes here at Reno. Fastest motorsport on the planet, Tommy, and the biplanes are so iconic. There's a great shot of that Christen Eagle coming around those final pylons 5 and 6. And then back to our leader as he comes to the steel start-finish line, and you see race 84. He is Alan Hoover saying, wait a minute, I am going to get back in front here. And again, that's not for position, ladies and gentlemen. He's just trying to unlap himself. But some great close racing. And to pass here at Reno, you do have to go on the outside. You can see a little bit of turbulence there affecting race 84. That's just the wind's not super high in terms of wind speed, but there is a little wind and there is a little turbulence, and you can see race 84 now maneuvering behind our leader, trying to find a way to get around him and unlap himself. This is probably more about self-respect and self-esteem than anything.
Racing for pride, I think, is what they might call that in some circles.
But nonetheless, those two aircraft are shoulder to shoulder, Tommy. You won't see that anywhere else on the planet. Shoulder to shoulder closed course for pylon racing, only here in Reno at the National Championship Air Races.
Biplane class, certainly one of the originals here. Better part of 6 decades racing in the Reno National Air Races.
There you can see Alan Hoover again trying to build some speed there on the outside. He's going to trade that, and then that was our last lap there, Tommy. I think we got miscounted there, so that was the checkered flag, and it looks like unofficially Dave Holmgren is finishing here, race 247. Scott McDonald in slow roll. Beautiful Christen Eagle. There's a red Pitts S1.
I believe that's race 80. Is that Dave Roloff's? Could be. Yes.
Race 80. And here's another beautiful
this
example.
May be Robert.
That's 80.
That's
right
80
there.
right there. That's that race 80. The other one was Robert Schmidl in 11X.
And then this airplane here, Tommy, interesting story. This aircraft is a Christen Eagle. It's blue, but it's piloted by Michael Brewer, who last was at the Reno Air Races last year. He was an Air Force Thunderbird. He flew both the number 3 position and the number 4 position, and then he's debuting this year as a race pilot here in race 44, the Big Cat. Michael Brewer, formerly of the United States Air Force Thunderbirds, and he fell in love with the Reno Air Races, being here as a Thunderbird and then back. So let's go back and look at this unique start, Tommy, as we go back and look at the scatter pylon start. Here's our leader, Dave Holmgren. He had the pole position from the top qualifying line speed, and he never relinquished it. Eventually lapped some of the field, but he was out front the whole time, Tommy.
Absolutely, and I think they probably did away with our oil lap there at first. That's why we got a little bit behind ourselves on lap count there, and then Dave took advantage of absolutely running a perfect race.
But here you see some great video of 11X flying there, and then now back to our leader in the mid laps. Here you can see the acceleration. He just flew a low line right out just above the 50-foot level. You see him making the turns around the pylons here from our pylon cam, and he just stayed out front. He did get by Alan Hoover in race 84, and those two flew close together for the last two and a half laps. Although it wasn't for position, it was some very close racing. And you'll see that only here at Reno, Tommy. Spectacular race. There you see as they come towards the finish. That was the white flag lap right there as they went by the steel home pylon. They go into those turns for the last times. They were wingtip to wingtip all the way around, even though it wasn't for position. Very competitive racing. And there is the checkered flag, and we see race 6, Dave "Homie" Holmgren into Miss Diane taking the unofficial first place.
There are our full unofficial standings. We'll have an official before too long, but Dave Holmgren and Miss Diane, race 6 in first place. Alan Hoover, race 84, the Panther in second. Robert Schmiedel, Red Lady, 11X. Dave Roloff's The Other Woman, race 80 in fourth. In fifth place, Michael Ruhr, race 44. Big Cat, Red Squirrel, race 23. Andrew McVicker in sixth place. Scott McDonald, race 247 in slow roll in seventh. And in eighth place, Toto, race 29 with Dennis Brown.